sound issues in the nave. And what we found out was most of the equipment we had in the nave actually worked. It's the hearing assistance that we needed to improve on. Ironically, we're holding this forum today, and the person who is responsible for the gift that we got to do all this passed away this week. Alice Tastian.
That's so important.
Alice was able to experience those. And we're very thankful for her family for the gift to begin with. Kim Fishman is an audiologist, and Steve Walsh runs the company that installs. Kim, Jan, I had one of my own.
I couldn't tell you and Pam.
I did it.
But they reminded me it's Kim Fishman. And Steve installed our loop in the sanctuary, as well as there is one, and you'll see a blue wire if you look closely enough on the very outside. It's taped to the edge of the carpet. And so they're going to just make this an experiential session. And I'll turn it over to them.
Experiential session. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, everybody?
Yes, loud and clear.
Good. I'm going to test you and see. If you can hear me, raise your right hand.
Yes.
That would be good. So see how it's kind of neat because you can turn away and you can still hear me really good.
So Kim, if people start walking out at about 10:15, that's because they're headed to a
Yes.
service. Don't take offense.
No, I won't take offense. So basically what Steve and I want to do is loop Minnesota. And your Cathedral is, no, my voice is going is looped. So the reason, and today I'm going to talk to you about what is that? What does that mean? What is it for you? How good is that? So you kind of understand and you can pass along the word. We also have meetings on once a month, an advocacy group. So if anybody is interested in coming to our advocacy group, maybe after the talk you can come up and tell us who you are. So anyways, this is Steve, I'm Kim, and Steve has looped about 17 places. 22 in Minnesota.
Well, no, there's some of those in South Dakota.
So you go to South Dakota, let us know. Anyways, I'm going to talk to you about looping. So the goal of today's talk is so that you understand what is an induction loop. How can this hearing loop help you? Who is a candidate for this loop, both personal and businesses? And then the American Disabilities Act. So this is actually part of a American Disabilities Act law. So the induction loop is what we said is there's, and actually it is blue today because it's not always blue, wire, that's copper wire that's going around the auditorium. And this wire is sending off a magnetic signal that's going like this. And so if you think about your hearing aids or your loop listener, you're catching those waves as it's going around and around. So the waves, the wire is being signaled to an amplifier, which is then going to a microphone. So now you're catching this wave that's coming back as I'm talking. So here's how it goes. My voice is going to the microphone, which is going to an amplifier, which is going to the loop, and then coming around to you guys in your coil. There is those of you who have hearing aids, I think there's maybe 2 today. Who has hearing aids? That's 2. There is a little chip in your hearing aid that when you activate it, when you turn it on, a button, it will catch these waves. And 60% of hearing aids have them. So it's going to be a state law that when you go to get a hearing aid, they will let you know if you're going to have a T-coil in your hearing aid or not. And you're listening through yours. And it sounds good?
Very good.
Good. So here's the story. People with hearing loss and even those without hearing loss have difficulty hearing the background noise. It's just common. Even if you have great hearing and there's background noise interrupting, it's difficult to hear. So what do? Well, you ask people to talk louder. Another thing you can do is you can move closer. Or you can also ask for assistive technology. And so when you're in a big auditorium of 50 or more, there's usually some kind of assistive technology that you can ask for. Or all kinds of noise going on here with the high ceilings. You've got somebody coughing there, you've got children over here whispering, there's somebody walking on the floorboards, just a lot of echo. Anyway, so what you get is this reverberation. So the issue of reverberation is huge and makes it really difficult to hear background noise. So what the assistive listening device does is it takes the sound directly from the microphone and gives it right into your ears. So it's as if I'm talking right into the ears. And if I turn this off, and I stop talking to you in this, look at the difference. You know, it's quite significantly different, isn't it? Than if I'm talking right in your ears. I mean, you're not going to miss a word that I'm going to say, right? Okay. So we believe that this loop is the clearest sound you can get. It's easy to use. If you have it in your hearing aid, all you do is push it. So it's a great. Forgot that he was filming over there. It's a great way of getting great sound quality. So here's an interesting, just put it all up there. This is an interesting study that was done in 2006, and I'm hoping that hearing aids are a little bit better now if we did it again in 2014 or 13. So this is a hearing aid satisfaction. And hearing aids, they did a study and they said, how satisfied are you with hearing aids? And most people said, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being totally satisfied, that they were, and this is without a loop, and that's the gray bars, that they were kind of like a 3. And that's kind of what I hear from my patients is, yeah, it's good, I can't live with it, I can't live without it, but, you know, it's okay. It does most of it, but I still can't hear in church. I still can't hear in the movie theaters. So they're not highly satisfied. Now, when you add a loop, so like today, and he has his hearing aids on, pushes a button, he is going to be at a 5. Every time you add a hearing loop, the patient moves up to a 5. They're completely satisfied. So that's very significant for us. I'm hoping now in today's market, though, the 3 moves to a 4, so there's more people on the 4. Any questions on this slide? So we look at assistive technology as kind of using just a ramp to help you get up, so you don't have to. It's just kind of it just makes things a little bit easier for everybody. American Disabilities Act recommends 3 types of assistive technology that is pretty mandated for if you have an auditorium of 50 and more. So there's 3 different things that can be used. There's the infrared light waves, and the difficulty with those is that if a wave is broken, then the sound breaks too. There's an FM, frequency modulated, which a lot of places have in movie theaters, and most churches are using FM right now. And then there's the loop, which is what we're talking about.
No, I would maybe just make a little comment, if I could, about what the differences are and why the loop works so wonderfully. People don't like to go get the headsets. So we have the loop listeners that you're using now, and people don't tend to do it. I mean, we just looped in Sioux Falls, the Washington Pavilion, which is kind of like the Ordway and the Guthrie combined. It's this beautiful facility that seats 1,900 people, and it's where all the Broadway plays come. There's symphony plays there. It's this beautiful space. They have infrared, which people don't come and get. 6 headsets is a lot for them. They say this has been big if people come and get 6 headsets. This is a facility that fills, and it's got 1,900 people. Where with the loop listener, you just press a button and you're listening, and you're not identifying yourself, and you're hearing perfectly. So when we get into a larger facility like that, there's some other advantages that we have with loops. We can do the timing so that when you're sitting in the back, the sound coming through the FM system comes instantly because it travels at almost the speed of light. But we can set up the timing, and you can't do that with FM or infrared, so that the sound that you're hearing is coming together. I mean, there's really a big difference. So people find not only do they use it, but they find that the quality is there. And there really isn't another technology that can accomplish this because this is generic for all hearing aids. You know, it's not specific to one hearing aid. And all of the other technologies that are available for providing direct communication to the hearing aid use a lot of electrical energy. And of course, hearing aids have tiny, tiny little batteries. And hearing loops don't use any energy from the hearing aid. So the batteries last the same amount of time. This is a wonderful technology for large venues. You serve a large number of people, and you don't have to go and get a piece of equipment. You don't have to identify yourself and give up your driver's license. People really love this technology. I'm just so excited.
It is exciting. But not as good.
It's different, but I prefer this better than this louder. It's very different, but I don't need it.
You can turn it down if you want. Oh, you
Yeah,
can.
then it turns off. I think about it more and more.
Oh, okay. So you're wearing hearing aids now?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. You have a hearing aid.
He says they don't. That doesn't.
One thing
It takes, one thing I'm going to say just about hearing, and if you feel like you're hearing me too loud, I mean, keep in mind you're just wearing, it's not tailored right for your hearing. So you're just using a general device where you're turning up and down the volume. Let's say, though, that you have a high frequency hearing loss. Isn't that funny? I didn't hear it. Oh. Wow, that's perfect timing. Anyways, only I can get the Stephen, I can decide with that. But let's say your hearing looks like this, okay? So you have normal hearing in the lows, and that's where the volume comes from. And I'm actually, when you're wearing this, you're kind of wearing a straight amplifier. It's a straight amplifying everything. But you don't want to straight amplify everything because you have a shape to your hearing loss. And so you want to fit it along that shape. And that's where you get the prescription for your own personal hearing aid. And so that's what's nice about the loop is that you can use this if you want, but if you have a hearing loss and you have a hearing aid, you can already have your prescription in your hearing aid, and it's going to sound so much better when you have that hearing aid with the loop activated. Another thing that people have to be aware of is that when you're not used to hearing really good, it's a little bit overwhelming, and so we do look at getting hearing and getting better hearing as a rehab experience. It's not like putting on a shoe and off you go, marching, but it's more like you put on a new tennis shoe and you're going to run a marathon. Well, you better start walking that block before you start running it and getting ready for the marathon. So when you do start listening and hearing, to a lot of you who have hearing loss right now, it may be a little loud because you're not used to it, or you're getting information that you're not used to. You don't really need. Okay.
I was actually going to mention that I didn't bring my hearing aids today, but when I listened in the hearing aids, it's so much better. These are loud.
Yeah.
Because it's not the
you
same
don't have
as
a low
your hearing
frequency
aids.
hearing loss.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's so
It's
much
noticeably
better.
different.
It's so much better when this can be tailored to your prescription. It's kind of like, think about if you put it on a little, similar to like a pair of glasses. If you put too much strength, it's going to make things even blurrier. And so sometimes, it's not the best example. You're getting the best example.
The other thing I noticed is with this, what do you call this thing?
Loop listener.
Okay, so this little device here, if it's too loud for you and it's on the lowest, which it was for me, I just tilted it a little bit, and you can actually adjust the volume with just by tilting this thing.
That's because you're not getting as many.
Exactly, but just a point of interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, now what you're suggesting in terms of tilting it will work well in this room, but in the sanctuary, that's not as effective because you have a more sophisticated system in the sanctuary. This is just what's called a perimeter loop, and it's what you see on the internet, and it makes it look like you can just do this anywhere. And in this room it works, but it's much more sophisticated in terms of when you're starting to do a larger venue or even a smaller venue, just because every building is different. And when we install a loop, we make sure that the level that you hear, because like with my hearing aids, unless I have this little thing with me, which I often forget, I can't change the intensity, the volume on my hearing aids. So it has to be right. So I rely on Kim to have the volume for my hearing aids for T-coil mode to be set correctly, but then it's my responsibility as an installer to make sure that every loop that I install is the same. So when you go to a different venue and you turn your hearing aid to loop mode, you're hearing the same intensity. It's the same volume level. And then when we look at the style and how much wire we put in, we're preserving frequencies. So on 2 occasions, I've now gone into loops that have been done by others, and there's no high frequencies. I mean, and I can tell right away. I mean, it's just boom. When I turn, there's no high frequencies. But that those loops were getting good reviews by the people using them because they were better than nothing, and because our brain is so capable of filling in those voids. That's why I probably went for 10 years without hearing aids when it was appropriate for me to go and get them. And I'm just typical. I mean, actually, I'm probably better than typical because most people that need hearing aids don't ever get them. I mean, I think we serve, what is it, Kim?
I think 2% of the population.
But the number of people that get hearing aids that need them, I think it's something like 1 in 5%.
20%.
20% of the people that need them actually go and get them.
I thought it was less than that. I was at 2%.
I think you're right on it. That's what I think. But there's very.
Well, my role that I see a lot of people, coming and getting help, and it's important that you do because hearing is important. And if you're going to go to your church functions, and how many times do I hear people say I can't hear at church, and they still go? Why do they go? I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just being there, but if you're not hearing, to me, I mean, you're just sitting there kind of bored. So it's important to have hearing. It's just one, and you only live one time. So I would spread the word about how important it is to hear. So here it is. Let's see, it says, this is for 88. 24 million people are suffering from hearing loss, and that means that we have the #1 disability. Hearing loss is the #1 disability in the United States. Okay? And that everyone has the right to effective communication. That's how we say it. So here's what you have to look for, and it's in your Cathedral. There's a blue T over there, and you can tell your friends if they don't know about it, because just because you might see this little sign doesn't, a lot of people don't know what that means. So that means that you have the right to go to your push your button, go to your T setting, anywhere you see it. Where are these? You can have them in your TV if you want. So you can loop your TV. You can also, when I have more of these, more around town, there's one in my clinic. If you want to come in. There's some in Fairview. If you go to Wisconsin, they're all over Wisconsin. If you go to Europe, they're all over Europe. And we're going to try to put them all over Minnesota too. So again, if you want to be an advocate, feel free to come visit us at Cheers. We meet once a month on Fridays for pizza lunch, and we're advocating for loops and trying to figure out a plan on how to keep looping, and also spread the word for your church, because people will come if you hear somebody say they can't hear a church, say, well, come to mine. You'll be able to hear. So also be a good spread for your church as well, because that's a good thing. All right. Any questions? Questions? It's too early in the morning.
I just want to, what is the cost?
Well, the cost is based on the size of the cathedral.
Well, that it's not so much the size, it's the style of loop. So, I mean, I have a great example. We're doing a loop for a pretty good sized church next Friday, and it's going to cost $5,800. I mean, and the reason that it's so reasonable is because they're choosing a very simple design, and their church would work for that. Now we have another church that is very similar in size. I mean, it looks almost the same, but to do their church, it was $14,000. And it's just because of the amount of metal and the construction of the floor and how the wire needs to be run. Both will perform very well. They'll both be very happy with their loops. The one at 14 is going to perform a little bit better. But is it, $9,000 better? No. I mean, they just happen to be very fortunate that this one is. And then we have another new church that's going to be right in White Bear. I'm really excited about it. And it's going to be very reasonable to do, just because of the style and the phase of the construction that they're in. Here it was pretty difficult putting the loop in because we ran it all underneath the floor so that we didn't touch the sanctuary at all.
You ran it on the ceiling, right? You put it on the ceiling.
We put it on the ceiling below the sanctuary. That's right.
You also had a slide that talked about in your living room.
Yeah, your TV.
Yes, we can do that. Yes. Those are very inexpensive loops, and they work extremely well. They're current-driven drivers, so I mean, they're really high quality, but they don't cost very much. And often what we'll do is we'll put a chair loop in. You can have 2 chair loops, so it would serve 2 people, or we'll run a simple little loop around the couch, or in one case, I did the whole family room. And actually, we did a very commercial installation where it was a phased array system. But this man wanted his whole room where his television is to have the loop installed. So there's a lot of options. That way, if someone comes over that also has hearing loss, they can hear as well. But he can walk around the room. That was really his goal, is he wanted to be able to be anywhere in that room and be able to hear the TV.
I can make some comments about our sanctuary. For me, it was great. I've been complaining about our sound system here at St. Mark for 15 years. I'm using Williams unit, which works most of the time, but not as well as this one. But it's not perfect. It will vary, my reception will vary depending on if I'm leaning down like this or straight. And in our church, when the gospel lesson is read, by the gospel, I don't know if you're familiar with they march up the aisle, and the person that is reading the gospel is facing the rear church, and about half of the congregation will turn. So if you're sitting up in front, you have to turn toward the back, or about 45 degrees. And that doesn't come through very well. In fact, when I will turn toward the front, actually, I can hear better than I turn toward the rear. So you learn how to do this, but it's kind of awkward. You're also facing back and forth. Doing the gospel and turning my back to it, so that it's a little bit awkward, but it works extremely well. I'm very happy.
So I'd like to make a few comments about what you've suggested is that when you turn, and that does change the way the waves are impacting the T-coil. But it's very dependent on where you're sitting. I'm going to guess you probably sit in the same spot.
I've tried this in different places, and it comes out different.
Yes, it would.
But according to Rich Mayer, I usually sit in a place where it comes off. It should be coming off.
Okay. Yeah, that is a function of the loop, and we actually have a very good loop installed. I mean, it's a phased array. We did have some challenges because running under the floor, we weren't always able to put the wire exactly where we wanted to. It's pretty close. And after we finished, we actually came back after Rich and I had gone through the system, and we put another day into it to move one wire. It seems a little crazy. Well, I guess there were 2 wires that we moved, but we put a lot of energy because where those wires are placed really can have a dramatic impact. So what you're commenting about is really They're still not quite perfect, but we meet the spec. I mean, we're actually, your loop, there isn't, we brought the system into spec in terms of both frequency response and intensity, but when you turn,
What about the hearing aid itself? Because some hearing aids have the T-coil in places that maybe they're getting better at replacing them, because I know some hearing aids have T-coils that were placed in strange places in the past.
now that is also true. Some manufacturers did put the T-coils not quite perfectly placed, but you could still experience this no matter how the T-coil is installed, because when you turn, the waves of power that are coming through that you're picking up, it's kind of like they're in a circular fashion, and if you were to think about a cup, and your T-coil is the cup, these waves are coming like this, and you have to fall over the cup. You think about it, and you turn the cup sideways. And if you try that with your new listeners, you can turn that unit sideways, and especially in this perimeter loop, it'll stop almost completely. You can find a place that's no. You can find a place where there's no sound at all, even with a phased array system, but it's so tiny, it's very, very difficult.
This is perfect here. I can hear no matter which way I'm turning or where my head is. It works perfectly.
Okay,
There you go.
that's great.
He's also
And this
sitting
is-
very close to one of the wires.
Yes.
You're almost on top of it.
So maybe if you move somewhere else, maybe it might not be as
Well, actually, anywhere inside here, I
Yeah,
think
it's-
please.
Yeah,
The
it's
perimeter
gonna be
is-
pretty good in here.
This room actually is an ideal room for a loop. When I first came and looked at it, I told Rich, I'm not sure we can do this, because generally speaking, when you have this style stadium seating, they get really challenging. That's the pavilion, which is good. It's a huge facility, and that, just coming off of that, I was like, oh, Rich, I don't know, but then we came in and tested it, and
I
it works
can't
great.
hear it back
It's
here.
it's a really nice.
Can you hear yours?
These hearing aids are Siemens, and they are 6 years old. And it's the first time I've used the T-coil.
well, that's awesome. That's good.
Oh,
Siemens is a great brand.
Yeah, it's not nearly as
I
loud.
think some other companies had more.
Just inside the loop, if you get just inside the loop, it's much more
But they're
loud.
doing, technology is
The loop
getting
is
better
right
and better
there.
with hearing aids.
If you just
So
step
maybe just
down into that
it's
seat
doing
there,
better,
it's
better in the
quite
future.
considerably louder.
Or you can try, state laws to try hearing aid for 45 days. Some places offer more, but you can try to make sure that your T-coil works really nicely in your places, and then so that will be part of your decision when you're over there.
And then if you hold it straighter, it makes a difference too.
When I was up there, it was holding it down and I couldn't hear you, and I would hold it up and I couldn't hear you.
Oh,
But I'm outside the loop, I guess.
oh, you were outside the loop. You gotta be in the loop. That's what we're hoping to have you all in the loop. So again, if anybody is interested in our advocacy group, would love to invite you. It's in St. Louis Park. And we meet Friday. Our next Friday meeting will be February 14th. And we're gonna have hard pizza that day.
I have one question. Is this microphone sensitive or subjective at all?
This is my microphone?
No, at the Cathedral, we have different microphones for different people,
Yeah.
and then some of them are vocational.
I think Steve has to answer that question. Or
What do you
answer-
mean?
Like I have a microphone that I wear,
Yeah.
and then sometimes in the pulpit and in the lectern, the microphones are attached directly to those
Yeah.
pieces of furniture.
Wired versus wireless.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would all work the same.
Oh, they could, okay.
Yeah. I mean, if it's coming through the PA system, through your speakers, we're getting it.
Okay.
We're not having any issues with that, are we, Rich?
No.
No?
What's feeding the loop comes directly from the amplifier. So it's irrelevant. As long as it's coming into a mic, it's going through the amplifier. We have different, our mics are what's different.
So maybe if you have a wireless mic and it kind of breaks with your amplifier, it could break through the system too. And maybe that's what he's getting to, if it's wireless, because wireless does break.
The biggest problem is with the gospel, no doubt about it, with respect to what
What you're talking about having to turn.
Yeah.
that would determine, that would be easy to do with the microphone. And I would expect in your facility, you probably don't experience much difficulty with your wireless microphones. Probably.
Not anymore.
So as an audiologist, listening to that, I would, if I could talk to the whole church and say, well, why I'm sure other people are having problems when somebody moves and you can't see them. So that may be something that you might want to change where that person doesn't really walk down because people behind them can't see and they have to turn and what if you have a sore neck and you can't, and they're not wearing hearing aids and they can hear. So that, it's kind of like saying if you go to a noisy restaurant and you're sitting right next to the speaker, well, move away from it. Go sit somewhere else. And so trying to finagle getting your environment, and so you could talk to whoever wants that part to happen, maybe say, we need to have that happen.
That'll never change.
That will change. I'm just saying, sometimes I have a lot of chutzpah, and I will try if I can. I'll always try if I can. And then they'll just look at me and say, okay, fine, but at least I tried.
1,000 years of history.
Is it 1,000 years of history?
Going back to, yeah.
Thank you for saying that. I was thinking this.
Well, you never know. History can be broken or changed. Not here. Not here. You never know, though. You don't know.
What if they wouldn't go down as far?
Right. That's the thing. You don't go down so
If they would go
far.
less far, if they would stay more.
Or maybe he can walk backwards. Or he can kind of do turns like this.
I think we're all thinking, as Kim was saying this, where is she going with this? We don't want to laugh, but we're so polite.
I don't know. I just feel like you could ask. Because if you can't hear and it's important that you hear, what if you miss something really good? Well,
And Roger.
see, I got his attention for you, huh? Right? He's smiling right there. He's kind of thinking about it. One thing too is I have a lot of patients who can't hear, and then they come in with their wives, for example, because their wives really want them to hear them, right? Now, the issue is the wife has a voice that's not so good. I think of this one patient, somewhat, you have to work on your voices, and men too don't always have perfect. Look at Bill Clinton. Does he have the worst voice or what? He's really crackly for hearing impaired people. And to have really good speech for hearing impaired people, you really want to project. So now I'm showing you how to, really talk and you're clear. And some people have voices like this. It's really hard. Or, hello, we live in Minnesota. Minnesota monotone. Straight up. It is impossible to hear somebody who has a flat, straight voice and hearing loss and no hearing aids. If you're going to speak, it's Minnesota monotone. So, people have to be aware of that. So that's why it's nice sometimes when you're a couple and you're saying, I can't hear my wife, and she understands her either. And she's kind of like, I wanted to do the dishes and we can't do it. I'm going to say to her, honey, I'd like you to do the dishes today. Change your dialect a little, get dejected. So there are speech pathologists that will work with people to get better voices. And when I was
They could work with the governor.
I know it. I actually have taught, and the mayor of St. Louis Park. I did a talk to the St. Louis Park council, and nobody can understand him. When he talks, it's horrible. So when I did my presentation, unfortunately he wasn't there, but I said, we got to work on the mayor. Because, some people just have bad, no one will hear them. And so then you get hearing aids, and poor audiologists, they come in and they say, I can't hear very good. And then the problem is, I can't help them hear something that's really flat or not good speech, or somebody speaking in Spanish. The hearing aid can't undo that. So you really have to look at the whole thing. And this is a great solution for reverberant noise. Is it a solution for, sitting at your kitchen table when your wife speaks monotone? No. Or if I was speaking monotone, it's not great. So if
Yeah, we're still hearing you fine.
Darker.
So stop it.
Anyways,
So the thing that, I'm not sure why I haven't had this happen in too many venues, but at Delano, when I did this type of presentation was before they purchased the loop, and we had a really good sized crowd, and there were 7 people that needed hearing aids that didn't have them. And 2 of them had very profound loss and had really dropped out of their church and really probably have dropped out of society too. And it kind of reminded me of my parents because they both had hearing loss. They were very resistant to the hearing aid technology. What I found happened at this church at Delano was Mount Olive. The people that had hearing aids kind of connected with the people that didn't. And at least 2 of them went forward and connected with hearing aids and rejoined the community. And that is just, I get goosebumps thinking about that because it's not just that they're joining their faith community, it's they're joining the world with them. And it happens so slowly for us when we lose our hearing, and our brain is capable of making it happen so that, it just kind of sneaks up on us. And yet, the hearing aid is really very, very helpful. Okay.
I need to go, but I wanted to thank you because the philosophy of our faith system is Word incarnate. And if we don't have that concept of Word present, then the incarnation is lost. So I wanted to thank you. I wanted to thank you for endorsing the possibility of changing 1,000 years of history. And I don't know where that will go, but I think there's merit. There's merit in the thought, and I appreciate that.
yeah.
But most especially, I like the idea that when people can't hear, then the value of their faith system starts to dwindle. The Word of God is the Word of God.
Yeah.
And if we
How
don't,
come they can't hear it?
and if you can't hear it, then it's losing its power. Its power is diminished. It's not lost, but it's diminished in what it's attention to do. So I'm really thankful for your presence, and I'm thankful for his work. Our wireless microphones have had a mystery to them, but that mystery is clearer and clearer all the time. So, but I really appreciate what you've done.
And we'll send people your way who can't hear it.
Yes.
One thing, we have a priest sometimes when he's speaking,
Yeah.
it sounds like he's speaking in German, actually. But the funny thing is, sometimes he actually is. We're just kidding around here.
Dankeschön sehr.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.